Welcome to the KellFire Show. I am Dr. Kelly Barron, and today I am so excited because I have spent some time talking to her before, so I know what a fabulous guest she's going to be. We have Kelly Kingsland on today, and Kelly is a feminine energetics mentor, a Reiki master and teacher, hypnotherapist, ordained metaphysical minister. First time I've met an ordained metaphysical minister. An international best-selling author. It is so impressive. Kelly works with women in the middle of life transition, after the achievements are in place, but before the next identity is fully formed. Ooh, I just got a little chills on that one. She works with women who have outgrown the version of life that once made sense and focuses on the part of you that hasn't said it out loud yet. So welcome, Kelly. Your bio is just awesome. It's just
and
awesome.
long.
No, it's really good. It highlights everything that's going through everyone's brain. We just haven't said it out loud yet. So thank you so much for coming on today. And tell us a little bit about yourself that I did not cover in that bio.
Sure. So first off, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this. I know we had to reschedule courtesy of the nasty colds and stuff that are going around right now.
Oh,
But
yeah.
so something else about me, I am married 30 years this year, and I have,
Congratulations. That's a huge
thanks.
milestone. That's a huge
I know.
milestone.
I know. I'm expecting my medal in the mail.
Yeah.
And I've got two adult boys. Um, two kitties, and just, do my thing and try to help where I can and be available to those that need me.
That's awesome. Well, how did you, let's start with hypnotherapy.
Okay.
Although I'm still like, ooh, metaphysical minister. Um, let's go with hypnotherapy. And can you tell us a little bit about the work that you do, your practice, and how that affects women in midlife transition?
Yeah, of course. Great question. So I started doing hypnotherapy. It was kind of a natural progression from meditation. So I'm a big believer in meditation. I teach meditation. I used to run meditation circles, all of that. And it's so similar that I used it. I really liked what it did for me. So I decided I wanted to learn how to do it so that I can, help others. And with meditation, I don't know if you have ever done that, you get very relaxed, right? And you open your mind and just take in. If you're listening to a guided meditation, you take in what's being said. If you're doing a silent meditation, you just open your mind to whatever messages are coming. Hypnotherapy actually works very, very similar.
Hmm.
You are in the same relaxed state. It opens the subconscious so that you can anchor in suggestions. The only difference is there are a couple steps to it to get you into the relaxation mode that are a little bit different. I started doing it, oh gosh, quite a while ago. I actually started it for manifestation of all things.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, then the great thing called menopause hit. And
The great menopause of 20 whatever.
yeah. And I thought, you know what? There's a way that we can use this. And so I played with it for a little bit and discovered that it can be used to treat things like hot flashes. It can help you with sleep. It can help you with weight loss. It can help you with emotion, like emotional regulation. It can help with so many different things that are the major complaints of menopause. And that's kind of where my focus went. So I still do smoking cessation and weight loss and, relaxation and stress release and phobias and that. But my passion has become menopause because there's so many women out there that are suffering and they don't need to.
No. And when, when I think, and probably a good chunk of the population thinks of hypnotherapy, you think like more along like weight loss, smoking cessation, like where you're in a deep meditative state and it's suggestive and someone is prompting you or making suggestions. So in midlife, how would that, and then is that wrong? Because maybe that's completely wrong, our thought process on what hypnotherapy is. Um, and when you're dealing with midlife women and things like hot flashes and that nature, is it the same? How does it differ?
It's exactly the same. Um, Hypnotherapy, so it works on the second level down of the brain waves. So the brainwave we're using right now is the alpha brainwave, or sorry, the beta brainwave, which is where you're conscious and you're doing things and you're aware and that sort of stuff. One level down is the alpha. That's where you go for meditation and that's where you go for hypnotherapy. So you're still awake. It's not like it used to drive me crazy because you'd see on TV, the entertainers that are hypnotherapists and they make people quack like a duck and they make
Right.
them do things and they don't remember doing them afterwards. That's not what clinical hypnotherapy is. So you go down only one level of brainwave. You are still perfectly aware, just like meditation. You can open your eyes at any time. When I do past life regression, I'm actually talking to you through the whole thing. Um, so you're still very much present. No one can make you do something you don't want to. No one can control your mind like that. Um, but so you are right in how it works. It's just very relaxing. Your mind opens. When you hit the alpha brainwave, that's when your subconscious connects. And when your subconscious connects, that's where we can make post-hypnotic suggestions that are going to be in there that you may not even realize. You may not, think about them, but they're still there. And part of hypnotherapy's effectiveness is in repetition. So when I'm working with women, what I'll do is start with one hypnotherapy. They can choose which one. You, I'm going to say a lot of the times it's the hot flashes.
Yeah. I would
And
imagine.
yeah, and you actually will listen. I'll give you like I'll record it for you and you'll listen to it every day for like 2 weeks.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I get it
I
now.
like listening to mine before bed when I'm relaxing because even if you fall asleep, your subconscious is still hearing it.
Right.
And then once that one is anchored in, we'll do another one. And then once that one's anchored in, we'll do another one. So I don't overwhelm because if you were to get, a package of 5 hypnotherapy sessions all at once and try to listen to all the recordings, it's too difficult to
Right.
really focus when you have that many different things going on.
What do you say to, because I know well, you've practiced with clientele in this demographic. From my experience, in this age group, and especially women who have had either high powered job or multiple children or a lot going on their plate where they are very controlling, they're still in this controlling state and cannot relax. How do you coach women or pull women through that are like, well, I just can't relax, or I can't, I hear the words and then my mind's thinking of 7 things, like, or I hear the words and I'm like, this isn't going to work, they're very negative during the whole session. How do you encounter that a lot, especially in this age group? And then how do you manage that with them?
So I don't encounter it that often because when people are trying hypnotherapy, they're doing it willingly. They want this to work,
That's
right?
true.
I have never met someone that I could not put into a hypnotic state. If the original plan doesn't work, so what happens is you start with something um, that is a session, like it's just going to relax you. I'll talk for maybe 10 minutes to kind of just relax you. Then you do something called a deepener. where I talk for, say, another 10 minutes, and that brings you even further down. And if you're still not there, then I'll just do it all over again. Eventually, you will get there. So,
Ah. Do you do them live or virtual or in person, or is it all recorded?
no, I do them live and I have recordings.
Okay.
So
So
it
it's
just depends what the individual wants. Usually I'll do a one-on-one live and I'll do it over Zoom like this, or if
Mhm.
they're local, I do it in my studio. Um, and then I will give them a recording and I make my recordings short. They're only maybe 15 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, like my live sessions are longer, so we're really getting in there. But then the recordings are a lot shorter, so you can listen to it when you're laying in the tub, or you can listen to it before bed, or like when you're doing pretty much anything that doesn't involve you moving around physically or driving, then you can listen to it and just 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you can sit on your couch and just listen for 15 minutes. So it makes it more manageable.
When you do something like that, and I'm gonna guess you're gonna tell me it's individualistic, but roughly how many sessions does it take for someone, to feel like, okay, they've noticed a change?
Most people will notice a change after the first session.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Um, I never say use only one session because the more you do it, the better it's going to be. So I will do, say, the one session where we do a hot flash meditation or hot flash hypnotherapy. And then you'll listen, like I said, to the recording for like 2 weeks. So you will notice a difference right away in the majority of the cases. But at the end of the 2 weeks, it's really anchored in there. It's really programmed into your subconscious.
So you and I had talked about the 34 listed symptoms of menopause, and now there's 100 and something, and likely there's more than that. It pretty much
Uh-huh.
just open the book and just flip through WebMD or something, and if it's a symptom, it's menopause at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
But what are, like, besides hot flashes, what are your top things that women in midlife come to you for?
Night sweats, inability to sleep, and weight gain.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, a lot of the vasomotor, a lot of that, the kind of the most disruptive
Yeah.
of all of them. Um, and then you talk a lot about women reconnecting with their feminine energy and finding themselves. And how does that work with, oh, so here's a good question. How does that work with hypnotherapy versus just going to a therapist and talking about finding your, working through that?
So, because hypnotherapy gets into a deeper part of the brain, right? Well, not of the physical brain, but because talking like this is great and you can have many aha moments, but it's how you act on it when you walk away,
Oh, yes, I love that.
right? With hypnotherapy, it's put into your subconscious. So you don't have to be as active a participant and it will, I don't want to say you participate passively because you do have to listen to them, but it just for some people who don't want to talk to somebody, don't have the funds to talk to somebody,
That's very true.
right? Like it just will make it easier. And quite often, especially if I'm dealing with someone who is going through a trauma and we're working through some of it with hypnotherapy, I always tell them to, you know what? I want you to make sure you have an appointment with your therapist booked for after we meet because there's going to be things that you need to process. I'm not a therapist. So, go see them because I know I was doing money blocks with someone. And it was anchored into a childhood memory, one of those core memories that you don't think about. And when we discovered that, she actually went to her therapist
Oh,
and talked it through because it came out during our session. Then she needed help processing it.
so like they work really well together, integrated.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because I can imagine, if you start like you said, there's a slew of people that their personalities are it's not so much that they don't trust, but they are uncomfortable talking and at least getting it all out. They might
Mhm.
sugarcoat it or hold back. Also making it's pretty easy to talk to someone and listen and take their suggestions and even have those aha moments, but things get in the way. Like you said, you walk out the door and you're like, oh, maybe no, or self-doubt or disbelief.
Mhm.
So it'd be very interesting to get into that state where you can peel back that one layer of your brain that's gonna, protective, if you will, that's gonna
Mhm.
stop anything from getting in there and allow it to get past your own self. I think
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
it is. It's really, really neat. And which sounds completely unprofessional, but it is.
No,
Like to just
no, it's
watch
not
it happen.
unprofessional. The body is so amazing, so to say it's
Yeah.
neat, I mean, that's actually an understatement. It
Yeah,
is.
it is. It's fascinating to watch. And I find, women of our age group, we've spent all this time building ourselves up. We've built our careers. We've done it. We've done the family thing. Now it's our time,
Right.
right? So part of the whole feminine energetic thing, which is not necessarily the focus of hypnotherapy so much as learning to be able to say, this is my time. This is what I need. This is what my body wants. This is what my soul needs. And I think I mentioned this to you before. I always say when I turned 50, my last F was given.
Yes, you did tell me that, it made my
Right.
day.
So, because those are the women that are going through menopause, they're willing to invest in themselves. They're willing to say, you know what? I've My kids wore designer while I wore Walmart. Now it's my
Right,
turn.
right. Um, that getting back to that softer side
Mhm,
after living years as a caregiver, a nurturer, and like you said, putting your children or putting your spouse or your job or elderly parents, whatever it is, putting them before you, we tend to, we get a little colder, a little rougher around the
mhm.
edges. And then being able to tap back in, it's very hard.
It
I don't know
is.
if you experience that. It's very hard to flip the switch because there's still all that feeling of it's selfish. It's selfish to want to feel good, to invest in myself, to tap back into that woman and allow her softness, allow to be, I call it like allow to be the princess for a little while, whatever that is for
Mhm,
someone. And I could imagine just being able to let go mentally and absorb that it's okay, those cues, and to have the recording going, constantly reinforcing it's okay. It's gotta be
mhm.
such a huge game changer for some women.
I like to think so, and, you know, I know I mean, I don't know how old your kids are, but I'm one of the ones that's in the whole sandwich generation. So I have adult kids, one of whom is still reliant on me, but I also have elderly parents who now have health issues and such. So because you find yourself, you're taking care of everyone. You don't just have your own little bubble with
Right.
your partner and animals and home and everything, children and that. But now you also have these people from the outside, your parents who are needing help as well. And I like to call myself a corporate refugee. VP, business, and trying to do all of it, women are burning themselves out at a rate so much higher than it ever used to be.
Oh, it's insane.
Because they're running the companies or they're managing the teams, but they're also managing their household and they're managing their children, especially if they're still in school, and they're managing their parents. And so where's the time for yourself? Right? So it's important that people realize, it doesn't have to be you step away from all your responsibilities and just anchor so far into the feminine that you never do anything ever again. It's a matter of taking pieces. So you know what? You want to do a spa day? Take the friggin' spa day. No one's going to die. Everyone's going to be fine. You know, get those kids doing housework. Get your husband doing housework. There's no reason there should be dirty dishes in the sink when you've worked all day.
Right.
But you get pushback because you've established these patterns and now
Right.
you're trying to unestablish them. And that's where
And
some women need support.
I think with menopause in particular and perimenopause, now that we know that, I mean, women can be experiencing it as early as their mid 30s,
Hmm.
35, that that what's happening to you. Well, I really stuttered on that one. What's happening to you, what you're going through, whatever your symptoms are that are for you, um, they just they've been pushed, especially like our mothers and our grandmothers, just pushed to the wayside. Like you have to bear it. You cannot address these things because
Hmm.
you have to, like you said, I'm in the sandwich generation too. I'm in that position. But our mothers and our grandmothers went from raising the kids to raising the grandkids, and it kind of just all blended together. We have it where it's like you said, the mine are 21 through 26. So that 21-year-old still slightly dependent last year at college. So
Hmm.
there's still that mother role that's going on, that very active mother role. And then some of the children you're not worrying so much about. And then there's your job. And then there's your spouse and your health and your mental well-being. Just they don't they're down at the bottom of the to-do list. That that
Hmm.
what those few things that always get moved over to the next day, then to the next day. Someday you'll get to them.
Yeah.
Um, but something as simple, non-evasive, and with a short period of time, like the work that you do, we should all be doing that. At the very least, that should be a jump in point
Hmm.
that you start there. And then, like you said, if you start uncovering things, major things or things that you're having a hard time working through, you pull in your network now where
Right.
you'll refer and say, okay, I think we've uncovered this. Now I think you need to go work on it a little bit
Hmm.
deeper. Yeah. Women need women like you. That hands down, women need women like you that can help guide them and are selfless enough if in their own practice like you are to say, I've gotten you here, I need to hand you off. Not like I've gotten you here and now you're going to stay with me for all of lifetime.
Hmm.
Uh, and so I applaud you for the work that you're doing. And I think it's a very, very valuable tool. And again, it's non-invasive, it's quick, it's peaceful. We
Hmm.
should definitely be incorporating that.
Yeah. It's funny. When I do the past life regression, you actually your brainwaves get down a level further because you have to be that much deeper. So you go down into theta. And I remember I was doing a session with a woman, I think she was down in Kentucky or something like that, Tennessee. I can't even remember. And she got comfortable and I started talking her down. And all of a sudden I hear,
She probably never sleeps.
I know, I know. I'm like, oh, you poor thing, you're exhausted.
Right.
But I couldn't continue the session. Like if it was a different one, like the menopause or whatever, I could continue because there's no interaction. But with that one, you have to talk to me while I'm doing it, telling me what you're seeing and what you're hearing and smelling and feeling and stuff. I was like, hello, hello. And I didn't want to yell and wake her because she's finally sleeping.
Yeah, no, it was probably one of her best nights or moments of sleep she's had in a long time.
I know, I know. I just thought, geez, I wonder how long she's going to be asleep for.
Did you have to end it and go?
Yeah. I sat there probably for 20 minutes trying to wake her up. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to sit here until she wakes up because who knows how long that's going to be. So I
Right.
just messaged her. I said, well, you know what? Apparently you were really tired. Let's try this again.
Now, for everything that you do, because you are, a woman with there's so much to you. Like when you look at your bio, you're like, wow, she does so many things. Is there ever a point where you find that everything that you do sort of melds together, or are they very distinct and like you do metaphysical over here and hypnotherapy over here?
In my mind, hypnotherapy is part of metaphysical, right? Metaphysical is the stuff you can't see.
Right.
So it started with Reiki. I learned how to do Reiki, which is a story in and of itself, and then got into meditation. And I think when you learn Reiki, when you get your level 1 certification, you have to do self-practice every day. That's part of the learning. And that was when I started learning to take the 10 minutes a day for myself because I had to. And my
Right.
kids were younger. I mean, that was 15, 16 years ago. And then like I said, got into the meditation, getting into a bit more of the esoteric stuff, and then did my ordination as a metaphysical minister. So I can do weddings and that sort of thing. Um, and then the hypnotherapy. But I use all of it when I'm working with someone. Like if I'm working with someone who's just doing, they just have menopause, that's their only complaint, and they just want the hypnotherapy. Awesome. Great. No problem. If I have someone who's wanting to do more, they're in a transition, they're either empty nest or they're changing careers or they're our age and they're finally trying to rediscover who they are now that everything else is done. I'm working with energetics with them. And I am working with meditation with them and hypnotherapy and all of this stuff. And the the book, I was a co-author in a book. And my chapter was actually all about energetics and sex magic. So
Oh,
how to use orgasm to manifest, right?
okay. Now we're talking.
So it's all interconnected. They all kind of work together and it never gets too woo-woo,
Right.
right? My background's psychology, so I have like the scientific base coming in, but I also know that human energetics are a real thing. You know that as well.
Right.
And I know that, manipulating the brain waves is a real thing and all of that. So it just kind of all plays together.
I forget what the percentage or the statistic I read about the amount of your brain that you use on a daily basis or
Oh,
ever.
minimal, minimal.
It's like a tenth, right? Or something
Yeah.
very tiny.
Yeah. I was going to say I believe it's around 10%.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I
Hmm.
knew that number 10 was in there somewhere. Um, so if you can imagine all that brain power that we're not tapping into, but that you can help someone tap
Hmm.
into something they don't normally do because we've got all these layers of uh, what we think about ourselves, our feelings, society, a million different things I'm sure that you could speak on that for the reasons why. But um, it must be fascinating to work with someone and see them slip into like I would say their real being, the real them
Hmm.
that just
Yeah.
lies there that's they don't they don't speak to. They're not friends with.
Yeah. You know what? I had a meeting a few weeks ago with someone and we had done some work together. And she said, I got so much out of it because I learned to be kinder to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned to look for the positive in any situation because I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason and you will end up exactly where you're meant to be. So something that looks like a negative, you'll discover in the future wasn't.
Right.
And so she was giving me examples of, this happened. And of course, my brain went here and here and here. And then I thought, no, you know what? Stop. Just look around you, see who's here supporting you, be grateful for who's here, and just enjoy yourself. She said it was one of the best nights I've ever had because I let go of all the expectations and all of the self-doubt and just, and when I hear things like that, it makes me really happy because I know that someone who suffers from anxiety and, has a hard time with putting themselves first has finally figured out how to do that.
In allowing people to being able to receive other
Mhm,
people's energy, right? That's
mhm.
like you said, there's like you get a box, like when we were young, with the puzzle, and we got the box, and there's the 52 pieces in there. They're all jumbled, and you're looking at it, and you're like, eh, you know, this is blue and this is green, and I'm sure this is supposed to be, but I don't understand what all of this is. But like, there's no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. And sometimes you just have to take the time to put the pieces together, and it may take a long time.
Mhm.
And part of that is receiving from other people, allowing the help to come in, allow their energy to come in to take care of you. I think we put up our own judgment or someone else's opinion about someone, and then we just energetically block them when
Yeah.
ultimately that person is the one we should be allowing in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as women and excuse me, as caregivers, we are so used to caring for others that we forget that we have to take care of ourselves.
Oh, 100%.
Like no one else is going to do it for us. So we got to do it ourselves. And that's why I always, like I said, you want to take a spa day, take the spa day. Give yourself grace and give yourself the ability to enjoy that without guilt and really just kind of spend time with yourself. Like I'm one of those people, I love going out to restaurants by myself.
Me too.
Me and a book. I love it.
Me too.
Like
Just
you just
looking around at people and observing
yeah,
seeing how other people live and what they talk about, and just taking that time for yourself. I think it's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, you just enjoy your own company. And so many women don't know how to do that.
Mm-mm.
It's
No,
one of
they
the
don't.
small pleasures in life.
No, I think women are like, "Well, I don't deserve that. I can't waste money on that." If I'm a woman, are men gonna assume I'm signaling, I'm single? Or am I just doing an open invitation? And no, no, you're just a woman that wants to go out and maybe dress up or not dress up, depending on where you're going. You want a nice meal and you want to people watch.
Mhm.
That's such a great time to do that.
Yeah, yeah, I love doing that.
Well, I have appreciated so much, I know you've only scratched, as I was on your podcast, and we talked, and I know you've only scratched the surface of hypnotherapy and everything that you do. Where can people follow you, find out about you, try to book an appointment if they'd like? Because I know I'm already like, okay, we got to do this. So, um, where can people find you, and how does the process work?
Sure. So they can find me on Instagram at Kelly Radiant Femme. They can find me, my website is radiantfemme.ca because I'm Canadian, so you got to represent.
Perfect.
Um, I'm on Facebook as kelly.m.kingsland. I'm on LinkedIn as Kelly Kingsland as well. So you can reach out to me on any of those platforms. I will, we can chat. do a consult, which I don't charge for. Give me an idea of what's going on with you, what you're looking for. Are we a fit? And then we book from there.
And then you have a podcast,
I
which
do have a podcast.
which was so much fun to be on, and tell us where we can follow and listen to you.
So that is on YouTube under, again, Kelly Radiant Femme. And it's also under the Unscripted Woman podcast on Apple and Spotify and a few other places.
Which I think is the greatest name for a podcast. It's
Yeah.
it's so representative of just your unscripted. It kind of
Yeah.
it represents what you speak about and the things that you're trying to do working with your clients. Just there is no we don't come with a little I would say we don't come with a little dog tag sewn inside of us that says, this is how much you should weigh, this is what your personality is like. No, we're
Uh-huh.
completely unscripted. Um
Yeah, we are. And it's also for the women who have been living by someone else's script and they're
yes,
ready to change.
that
They're
is
ready to discover their own script, not what everyone else is expecting of them.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Kelly, for coming on. Again, I do encourage everyone to follow any of your social medias or jump on your YouTube to listen to your podcast because, again, you've only scratched the surface. And I really believe this is such a good entryway into self care and to start working on yourself. It's so gentle
Mhm.
sounding. It's so just and if you can do that and sort of tap into these symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats and stuff just by doing that without having to go, and again, everyone has a choice and there's no wrong choice, but without having
Uh-huh.
to go, take a prescription, you could start here first or do in conjunction with and really get, the trifecta. I'm all for it. Anything to make a woman feel more like herself than have to suffer through something she does not need to suffer through.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you so much for having me.